All right, everyone. Welcome to another Weekend No Show. My name is John, known as JG. I got Vel here, and I got Clinton as well. Say hello, guys.
Yo, it's Vel, aka the city is LAT.
What's up, folks? Clinton, aka CL Smooth, aka
Yeah.
I'm gonna be interrupting Vel as much as possible.
Hey, man, I need a better nickname. What is this? I'm coming up with something for next time. But anyway, so this week we're going to be talking about Nepo babies. I'm sure a lot of you
Nipple babies.
No,
What you talking about, man?
that might be a better topic. I'm talking about Nepo babies, man. We'll talk about nipples some other time. Nepo babies, if you saw the vulture.com article, anyway, it's this Hollywood trend, putting their kids, their relatives into the movies or into not necessarily the movies, the TV, writing, whatever. So they just made a definitive list of who's related to who. And no, it doesn't necessarily mean they got help from him, but it's just nice to know, okay, this guy got on because of this guy, possibly, and more likely, probably. So there was a lot of pushback. There's a lot of pushback from celebrities. Jamie Lee Curtis, in particular, she was very offended. And some of these people were offended, saying, oh, I put in all this work, blah, 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 blah. And I'll just say my take on it is I've seen, I forgot if it was Gwyneth Paltrow or somebody else, they were saying, trying to compare it to, well, what if, your dad owns a mechanic shop and then you become a mechanic, you take over the mechanic shop. It's the same thing. No, not really, because you are walking people through the door to a level of status and affluence and just life that most people are going to be denied. And to me, it's also that I absolutely expect parents to do the most they can for their children. And when the parents have a lot of influence and a lot of power, they're going to use that power and influence to do the most for their kids. And in this case, it's walking them to the front of the line where they can get into these roles that other people, have to work so hard for. Some of these people, I think I read something like who is the one, Kate Mara, if you remember, she was in House of Cards.
Yes, right. Kate Mara. Yeah,
Kate Mara. Well, I think doesn't her father's family owns one sports franchise and her mother's family owns another sports franchise.
Must be nice.
It's like, so then it's like, okay, maybe that doesn't necessarily give her acting context, but at the same time, you're not struggling. You're not working 3 jobs and you got to practically quit a job to go do an audition and wait for 6-7 hours, compete against, 1,000 people, and then try to get back to your job and hope you still got that job. And then not only that, but just be looked down on. How many times do people, oh, I want to be an actor, and people will scoff. And
right.
Until you make it, they laugh at you. I'm gonna go to Hollywood. Ha ha ha! Yeah, right, man. And it's you have to deal with that too. But I'm looking at, look at the Will Smiths and what's his son's name? I forgot, but Jaden.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jaden had to be capable of actually saying the lines and actually doing the stuff. But how hard was it for him to get those roles? Probably not very hard, where other people are struggling and desperately trying. And it's just, no, it's not fair. It's not fair. But at the same time, like I said earlier, I had a situation at a job I worked where somebody was saying, oh, the owner was helping his kids, walking his kids into this job and doing this. And I told this person, again, I expect nothing less from parents. I expect them to do the most they can. So I'm at the point where, yes, it ain't fair. It ain't fair like a mofo, and that's what I expect. So I don't know if maybe I'm just so cynical because people will be like, well, life isn't fair. Hey, that doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yeah.
No, it's not fair. I don't like it. But I'm reading the article and it's like, okay, I guess what is to be done. And why wouldn't those kids want to get into it? Why wouldn't they want to receive all the love and praise from the great unwashed like their parents do all the time? Who wouldn't want that? Who doesn't want fame and money and powers, such as it is? So I guess I don't know. I guess I don't have like a hard conclusion to come to, but it kind of made me sick. But at the same time, I'm like, what else is to be expected in the situation? So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Clinton. Clinton, what do you think?
Yeah, so I mean, you can call me CL Smooth, who interrupts Vel, if you don't mind.
my bad. Let's back it up. CL
Yeah,
Smooth, please.
no. CL Smooth, who interrupts
Who
Vel.
interrupts Vel.
Man, I just can't get this right. I'm fired.
All
CL
right.
Smooth.
Look, so I get what we're talking about is someone, in this case, these so-called Nepo babies, are getting put on, they're getting opportunities that they may not have otherwise gotten if they didn't have the connections through their family and whatnot, power, prestige, all that kind of stuff, right? And I guess my point is, and that's unfair. It's like inheritance, right? You're born into a rich family, and you know that you're going to inherit millions of dollars that you had no part in earning or making or whatever. And maybe your parents, was the same type of thing. So life is unfair. I guess I agree with all that. My question to the people who, maybe the Vulture article and people who are outraged by these Nepo babies is, okay, it's unfair. What would you do about it? Like what reasonable thing are you proposing to mitigate this unfairness?
That's I agree. That's what I was saying. What's to be done?
Does the article give any suggestions as to what they're proposing? Or
I didn't finish the article because I bailed out because I couldn't take it anymore. I wonder if there's any conclusion at the end. Let me just scroll to the end of this article.
So wait a minute. You're saying that you didn't prepare for the weekend no show?
Or
you
see
took
the thing
the title of our podcast literally is what you're saying.
The thing about that is, huh? What? Somebody's calling me.
So I'm gonna.
There's no conclusion. There's no real conclusion here.
I'm gonna jump in.
Just last point here, though.
Go ahead.
While I rudely interrupt you, that's kind of my point too. So you got articles that come out like this, and this is a lot of what's going on in social media and society today. People railing against the wind, complaining about this, and that, but they don't offer solutions. They end at pointing the finger. They end at calling it out, right? But they don't offer any insight whatsoever into, okay, so what do we do about that? Because there's lots of things in life that are unfair, but many times you trying to fix it could be worse than the original unfairness. So
actually, to be fair to the Vulture article, the article is just a definitive guide. They're not saying shit else, but this is who's related to who, and this is who came up from who.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
I guess they're not even saying they're going to offer any real opinion.
They're not offering opinion. They're just giving kind of a genealogy type of thing.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. All right, Vel.
All right. So let me preface all my statements by saying thank God for nepotism, because without it, we would not have Kate Hudson in our lives. That said, there is a solution to, as far as Hollywood is concerned. There is a solution, which is basically just blind casting. So I think, if you come in and, and everyone knows that you're fucking Kurt Russell and fucking Goldie Hawn's daughter, it's fucking Hollywood. People are going to stand up a little straighter, when you come in. But if you do truly blind casting, it's based on the talent. There are some people who got on because of their parents or their grandparents or whomever, and they ended up being great actors and actresses. And so I don't mind that. But when you get these hacks You know, every all of what's Steve Buscemi. I see his brother. His brother keeps showing up on shit. And I'm just like, that guy's a hack, but he's Steve Buscemi's brother. And the reason I know he's Steve Buscemi because they have those, they have those weird eyes. I'm like, that's absolutely Steve Buscemi's, older brother even. So, and fucking Sylvester Stallone's brother, hack. But so he shouldn't get those things. But because he's Stallone's brother, he keeps showing up in random movies, fucking the Wahlbergs, whatever. So I don't really have a problem with nepotism so long as the person is actually talented and sort of prove themselves. But there's a lot of hacks in Hollywood getting paid that like people who paid their dues should have those fucking roles, especially if it's just like
Well,
character acting.
what about taking this beyond just Hollywood? Because that's a little bit of a slightly
Okay.
different animal. About nepotism in all other types of industries and things like that, because you know you can't, not that you can't, but are they going to do a blind casting call when you go interview for that job at Apple or Tesla or anything like that? I know it's not the same thing as these celebrities, but that also happens within companies. JG, you were giving the example of the CEO and helping their children. So
Well, I've definitely worked at a company where the CFOs, I think it's his niece or something, where she, like this is our new intern. I'm like, I don't remember, interns coming in here and interviewing. I don't
Yeah.
remember a parade of of potential hires coming in, and it was a paid internship, by the way.
Oh,
So
even better.
I was just like, I don't remember a lot of you know, college kids rolling through here, who might get the internship. He just showed up. Here's our new intern,
Mhm.
and in that case, I don't think that's cool. But I also don't fault the person who benefits. Listen, I mean, he probably asked for the hookup, but he can't help who his uncle is. And listen, if I had I shouldn't say that because I actually don't take advantage of it because I do have a friend who could probably hook me up. But generally speaking, I I like to think that if I had I don't know a uncle who worked at Google, I wouldn't say, hey, uncle, bring me in there unless I truly had skills to do the job. Like if I never took a coding class, I'm like, dude, hook me up. I wouldn't do it because I was like, I'm not going to Google and embarrassing myself. And like the true people who, who the people who are the nepo babies who don't actually have the skills, those are the problem. But those who have skills, they're just taking advantage of an opportunity.
Yeah, and I can't fault them because
Yeah,
it's like it's so rough out there. What is the alternative? Is you don't use your
yeah,
connection, especially in that industry. I
yeah,
mean, they see what these people go through. They're not going to go through that. And
yeah.
I think I just saw one where I forgot the actor. Was it the guy from Dune? And they said something about how somebody said he did an audition, and then his agent said he hasn't done an audition for 7 years.
That's a terrible
And
agent. He's
well, I
not
mean,
helping.
yeah, he's not helping his client because he just walks into stuff because his family was connected,
Yeah,
and then he just let the cat out of the bag that his client didn't even audition for anything. He just handed these roles.
yeah. So yeah, I don't have a problem with it at all. And just so long as the person is competent at whatever the job is, and that actually actually produces. But if people are just getting jobs and go in their office and listen and listen to podcasts like the Weekend No Show, for example, you know if people are just collecting money and and preventing if they're rich already and are just bored and collecting a check, and when there's somebody who really needs that job who doesn't get the job as a result, I have a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, and remember when Samuel L. Jackson was angry because rappers were taking all the acting jobs,
Yeah, yeah,
and he's like, I'm not going to work with any on any films where they hire a rapper, except for Will Smith. He made the the exception for Will Smith.
Right.
But I mean, this is where he should have been mad. Like, there's people who are struggling who probably have real talent who we'll never see
Yeah.
because they can't get put on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it ultimately goes to a deeper issue in society, which is everything revolves around money, or 99% of it does. You know what I mean? And um, I mean, sure, people choose careers, and acting doesn't always pay off, obviously, for a lot of people. So they have a passion for it. But I just wonder if more people, if people weren't concerned so much about, you know, just the basic necessities of life, right? Being able to get by day to day, would these types of issues be even that much of an issue? You know what I'm saying? Like, you'd still want an opportunity if you're an actor. I think the arts and things like that, and sports, the creative type of stuff, especially, you know, you're doing that for a love and a passion and stuff like that. But if you're talking about like corporate America, you know, if I'm not financially, you know, dependent on getting this job or whatever, then I'm probably less angry about if you're getting a hookup for some shit that I didn't want anyway. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think that we're going to be seeing, and just a small tangent because I've been ranting about this for years now, but with AI happening, and especially a lot of the 3D work I was doing, and you see what can be done. We saw the Mandalorian, Luke Skywalker, younger Luke Skywalker in the Mandalorian, and we see what can be done. And I really feel like we're getting to the point where we're these actors and such, they better get what they can get while they can,
Yeah.
because it's going to be coming to a close, because these studios, why do you need these people if you can just make up an AI person and it looks real, and make a film, and you don't need a stunt person, you can just do all this stuff. It's going to get to the point where we have just a director, somebody who's working with software, who's saying, okay, I want this to happen, and typing in line by line, this happens, this happens, this happens. I made up a person, and no, I don't need their likeness. I don't need their, I'm making up a person. And
Yeah.
boy, think of how much money is to be made when you don't have to pay the actors, the crew, you know, the sound crew, the lighting crew. It's all generated, and there's going to be a lot of people out of a job, and only the people who are doing motion capture and really have a love of the game are going to be acting on stage, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's also interesting about that whole thing is that so much like Luke Skywalker and even Carrie Fisher. Well, I mean, let's keep it on Star Wars. I read or heard someplace that oh my god, I feel terrible. James Earl Jones. I heard that he sold the rights to his voice,
He did. It's going to
and
be AI
so
generated from now on.
yeah, and so is he just getting paid? He doesn't even have to show up anymore. He just gets paid, and so
They
people are
paid him out. Yeah.
oh, they paid him out already. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so people you know, like the people who are already established, people who have, unique voices and recognizable voices or images for that matter, they they still get paid. And so whereas another actor could, if you're gonna I don't know, if you're gonna keep rebooting Star Wars or whatever, you know, let another deep voice brother have a turn. Make sure it's a brother though.
Make sure it's a brother. They should have took that mask off Darth Vader at the end and have him been black. And Luke would
Oh,
have
that
been
would have
like,
been
man,
dope.
what the this may be a galaxy far away, but you ain't my dad, man. It ain't how genetics work.
Oh
He's
man.
like, no, boy, I was tapping this Skywalker.
So I have a
I
question
mean,
for
look,
you. Go ahead.
Okay.
good.
I think that was an expert interruption, by the way. Um, but I was gonna say, who do you guys think? I have a. I mean, actually, it's probably worse. I just don't realize, you know. But who do you guys think is the worst sort of nepo baby? I have an idea for
The
me.
worst.
The worst one. I
or
mean,
one who truly did benefit from nepotism, who isn't that talented, isn't that great, but yet they're very successful because they came in, they got their foot in the door thanks to their parents or cousin or
George
whatever.
Bush.
Oh, nice, nice,
that's a
very
good
nice.
one.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
I would say what's Obama's daughter, who's going to be now writing on one of um, what's the dude from Atlanta?
Uh,
Glover, Donald Glover.
Donald Glover. She's going to be writing on one of his shows.
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah,
I
Donald
mean,
Glover is Danny Glover's. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, actually, I got an even better one.
All right,
Hunter
what you got?
Biden. Hunter
All
Biden.
right,
Hunter
yeah,
Biden.
yeah,
Yeah, man.
I can
This
see
dude
that,
was
but
getting he was getting paid millions of dollars for doing nothing, literally nothing, man. That Ukraine oil company.
yeah,
Hey, if he
yeah,
wasn't doing nothing, why were all these right wing people after him? He,
you got to get to the
Well,
you got to
well,
get to
I
the
mean,
father
because he
some
was
way.
doing something, but he just wasn't doing his job. That's what I should be
he
saying.
was doing something.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
So
doing
I was
something.
I was gonna throw out Lena Dunham. I had never heard of her before, and yet she somehow was a showrunner and star of an HBO, prime time, show.
Hmm.
She had never been in anything before that, and I was just like, "Who is this chick?" And she's not that. I mean, I didn't think she was that great an actress, even though I watched 2 seasons of Girls. But
I
she I mean, I guess she's still doing things, but she's in the ether. She's in my fucking brain, and it's only because her. I don't know. I think her mom was an actress, and her dad was like a producer, like a big time producer or something. I don't even know who they were, but I do remember thinking, "Where'd this chick come from?" And then it's like, "Oh,
and I didn't watch none of that show because they took off How to Make It in America and put that on. It was the same thing except with girls.
oh, was it?
You watch How to Make It in America, right?
No, I never seen it.
Oh man, okay. I gotta get that for you guys. But anyway, it was the exact same show. These people in New York trying to make it, and all of a sudden they cancel that. Then Girls comes on. I'm like, this looks like the exact same thing as How to Make It in America.
Ah,
Um, but all of those were everyone in Girls. It's funny you mentioned that because they
oh,
were
all
all
four of
nepo.
those. Yeah, all four of
Yeah,
them were. Yeah, I
they were
forgot.
all
Yeah,
nepo babies.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
That was
they should have
hilarious.
they should have called it Girls. Dot dot Nepo babies.
I mean, this is also kind of like it ties a little bit to like the whole question of like diversity and representation in all kinds of different industries and fields. You know what I mean? Whether you're talking about like black coaches in professional sports, or black people in general in higher echelons of corporate America, or you talk about women in positions of power, or sexual orientation, or any of those kind of underrepresented groups. It's kind of that same issue. Particular groups, in this case, nepo babies, are particular people who have connections, are getting opportunities that they may or may not deserve, but other people are not getting those opportunities. And ultimately, I think the answer to it is you want more opportunities in these fields, right? So you want more companies that are started and run, founded by people from these different groups, right? You want more. You want to create a larger market so more people have opportunity to showcase their wares. I'm a big believer in, you can complain, and I think it's fine to complain, and complain is has its place, but you should marry that with taking some action. And I think we've talked about this before, off air. It's just like, if someone won't invite me to their quote unquote party, right? I can't get to, you know, director level at JP Morgan Chase or something like that because of nepotism or whatever, then cool. I need to find a way to start my own competing company, my own compete. And it's not that it's easy, but there are resources out there, particularly if people from you know groups who aren't getting opportunity, if they partner and work together, they can create those opportunities. And I'd rather see more of that. As it relates to Hollywood, it means, coming up, partnering and creating more, um, I don't know if it's studios or creative outlets and things like that, which sounds crazy, but with technology, we're seeing it today. We're creating our own podcast, right? Many other people have done that, creating their own independent films, their own little shows on YouTube or other media platforms. That's just going to increase with um, more technology, and that technology be even cheaper and easier to use. So I think, a lot of these doors that were locked, because of nepotism and other reasons, are going to be, bust wide open, because there's going to be a whole lot more competitors in the space. Is that making sense?
I mean, I see what you're saying. I think it's gonna shrink because of what I said. I think studios trying to make money, they're gonna start seeing that we don't need these people. We just don't need their personalities. We don't need the problems they bring. We don't need to insure a bunch of real life people um, because they're acting crazy or they're drunk or something. They're on drugs. I'm just gonna put these AI people in, and pretty soon, yeah, they're gonna have money, but we're not gonna be having these people in the space. What might happen is they might reach out and get Will Smith's likeness. We might pay you for your likeness so we can make you younger or whatever. I'm hoping they don't do that and just generate some people. So that avenue might be closed off. That avenue might be closed off.
I just think, just to push back a little bit, is that I I, I agree with you. I think we're going to see a lot of that happening, not just in Hollywood, but all over the business landscape. Right, automation is going to be coming in waves,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Society's probably not going to be ready for it. You're going to have, you know huge chunks of society without income, without jobs. We're going to have to figure out a way. How do we move forward in that kind of world where everything is automated? But what I'm saying is that that very technology that I agree with you is going to be used to push people out of, let's say, Hollywood, for example. That technology is going to be available to you. So if you're a young actor or a filmmaker or whatever, you'll have the tools at home, or in a small studio to create competing movies, right? I think you'll be able to, you'll be able to do the same thing that these big studios have. Now they may have more money behind them, but we see small projects do really well. So I
Yeah,
think,
but they will not have the fame and the adoration and the easy life. That is the problem with the Nepo baby thing now is
Yeah.
where whoever that was saying, "Oh, if your father is a mechanic and you become a mechanic," well, he doesn't inherit a glamorous lifestyle as a mechanic. Um, these people are kind of inheriting these incredible lifestyles that most of us will never see. That is the part where I'm just a hater, man. It's like, hey, man, this is some BS. Even though I recognize, again, that why wouldn't you do the most you can for your kid? And I don't think there would ever be a good answer, and that's why I do hope that AI comes in and just wipes all this stuff out because I'm just hating hard over here.
Well, my thing about the AI thing, I don't think the AI or technology in general is gonna even the playing fields because those who
No,
are
it
sort of
will demolish the playing field.
yeah, I think but the people who are doing AI, who are the people who are doing the coding, the people who are doing the motion capture, they're just gonna keep it moving with their with their children and their and their families and their crew. And so I don't think nepotism will ever go away, just so long as if there's a human involved, they're gonna look out for them. They're gonna look out for their people.
I think that is a perfect way to end this show.
All right.
I don't think that shit was perfect. I don't think that shit was perfect at all. But go ahead. It's the weekend, man. I wasn't going to show up for this shit anyway.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm saying it was perfect. So that's it. We're out. We're out, man. We're out. But anyway, Nepo babies. Bottom line to wrap up, like Jerry Springer, remember, used to have the final thought. The final thought is, yeah, f them mofo's, man. But because I'm hating, so yeah, you heard it here on the Weekend No Show. Uh, I'm JG, and working here with Vel, and of course CL Smooth, who interrupts Vel. Did I did I
Yeah.
did I get it right that time?
There you go. I was about to
Okay.
replace you with some AI, man.
Yeah, that could really happen, man. So anyway, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, and we'll see you next time. If you like this show, please like and subscribe, share. We appreciate it. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.